to What Did I Say with Dan Rothenberg.
I wanted to focus on parenting being a permanent role rather than just a temporary one. Kids have all these different developmental stages, and it requires a different type of parenting.
Times have changed so radically, Dan, that when I left home because my hair was too long, believe it or not. Times
have changed. You're right.
Kids today can't get a job when they're 21. And many children are living at home with their parents, not because they want to, but because society has made it so difficult for them to be able to succeed on their own, to go out and buy a house. I bought my first house when I was 22. Kids can't do that now.
Okay. That's
they can't.
Right. So the world has changed, and we might have grown up with a certain amount of abundance that isn't there.
A different kind of abundance. We didn't have the media. We didn't have the computers. We didn't have the cell phones. We didn't have all the luxury, quote unquote, of doing this on a computer. What we had was the luxury of knowing that society was working at that time. But it's so important for parents to understand that now the kids more than ever need the parents to be involved in their life in every crevice of their life. Even though the kids are saying, get away, get away, get away, the parent needs to be right there behind them.
How do I connect with my middle school kid when they won't talk to me and I don't want to be helicoptering? What do I do? I feel like
to say about that. I called it the captive audience when you had them in the car, and I did a lot of driving around. I would try to have a conversation because they couldn't run away, they couldn't shut the door, some sort of interaction.
Okay, so you take the opportunities.
Yeah, when
you
you're
have
alone
with
in
them.
the car.
Okay,
Try
and
to bring up the topic you're concerned about.
okay, so and what you're saying, I think it's important because it makes me think about the opportunities we can create. For instance, eating dinner.
Absolutely.
Not in front of the TV.
Or with the cell phone in your bloody hand.
Another thing that I see is, I don't know if I want to call it over-involvement, but this hovering.
Yeah.
Being on parent view all the time, knowing every assignment your kid has. How do you find the balance of that?
Well, I think the difficulty with a helicopter parent, what we called them back in school as a helicopter parent, is that many times the child is doing it for the parent and they're not doing it for themselves. If a parent does want to teach them autonomy, the last thing in the world they want to do is helicopter over them. I've ran many parenting workshops, and one of the things that I would always suggest to my parents is that there is a place on the kitchen table, at the kitchen counter or somewhere, where the kid comes home, he does his homework, and that is set there. The expectation is that the homework is sat there. I review it, I look at it, not correct it, I just make sure that it's done. The child takes it to school and lets the teacher do their work. If a parent does the schoolwork for a child, they're not doing a service to the child. Now, there's a caveat to that, because if you have a student who is in need, special education student or learning disabled student, it's a completely different story. In other words, they're delayed a couple of years from the time that same child, you've got two siblings in the house. One is general education, one special education. One has special needs, the other one doesn't. The person with special needs is going to need about 2 years more supervision than the person without the needs. But the person without the needs still needs parent supervision. They're the ones that I say you can make a place, put a box on the counter somewhere, have your kids come home, go to their room, get the homework done. My expectation is by the time 6 o'clock rolls around, or whenever we have dinner, or whatever time, that the homework is in there. I look at it, I put it back in there, they put it in their notebook or whatever, they take it to school the next day. And if they have them all wrong, that's on them. It's not on the parent. The parent's job is to supervise and make sure the work is done correctly. because if it's done correctly, the child is not going to learn through the
Air,
through
through errors.
humiliation, whatever you want to call it, of being in a classroom that I went through and that many people go through to learn how to do it correctly.
I like that. So just make sure it's done.
Just make sure it's done.
And then you can help them ask the teacher for help. You can help them solve their own problems, but you don't have to do it with them.
There you go, brother.
On this topic of parenting being this permanent role,
Mhm.
how do you parent them now? Like, how do you parent an adult? Have a good relationship.
So, I have to give them space and accept that they're living their life. Their life is not about me. And when they call me, I'm really happy to talk to them. If they need anything, I'll always be there for them. I'll always be there. And I always want to stay in touch, no matter what.
Sounds like this common theme of adjusting to the times, which is hard.
Yeah.
Lonnie and Rosie, thank you so much.
Yeah.
This was really helpful. I'm really excited about this episode. I really appreciate you guys' time.
Absolutely,
Thank
my
you.
friend.
Nice to meet you.
It's awesome that you're doing the work that you're doing.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.